glimpse at his Reddit thread where he started a quote-unquote non-profit organization called Feet Peace. Born into the cruel and unforgiving streets of foster care, young Jimmy overcame the slums, overcame the norm, and overcame life. In this story, Jimmy reveals how he leaped over all obstacles, how he can scrap for survival, how he destroyed legends and smashed records, how he outwitted all the people, and how when he stood in the face with God, he told them, "I believe you're in my seat." So don't go anywhere, because like all men in myth and legend, Jimmy strives for the betterment of humanity. For the first time, Jimmy reveals his secrets behind the birth of the one, the only, Feet Peace. Super Hearts brought us delicious fried chicken, Jesus brought us party tricks, and now James Saroka brings you the VIP path to perfection.
Heck?
Jimmy Saroka is a great poet, savior, leader, actor, director, editor, icon, idol, motivator, doctor, scientist, debater, politician, inspiration, geologist, historian, role model, human being, and now a storyteller. He is the creator of his life as he longs for the betterment of all people. If you follow his advice and implement his ways and strategies, detail his words into your life, you will find that your life's length and quality shall vastly improve at a rapid pace. Now please just take into mind what I just read to you. With all the things that you're about to see in this video, your jaw is going to be dropping because this only gets worse and worse and worse and worse. This is the Onision 6.0. This guy has like hardly any following, and he's been online documenting and live streaming every aspect of his life for the last 5 years, including the fraudulent scams, the abuse, and him taking advantage and using and...
Do you know the scary thing about it is, everybody, yeah, is he actually got people, like, I don't know with that, but you'll find out later on, he really did do that to people, like, you know, make them worship him and create this fucked up cult. It's bizarre, mate, bizarre. 5 years this guy were documenting his shit for. I didn't even realise that myself. 5 years, man, before this guy basically retweeted a tweet or some shit, and then that's when it started.
And sucking off and leeching off of other people.
Crazy.
You can hit me. That's somebody just said. You can hit me and get away with it. It's free.
Go ahead. Saroka, yeah. Oh,
no, it's not. It's not on screen or off screen. But you think the moment the screen comes off, it's okay to behave however you feel like it. I'm not convincing you to stay anymore. I am begging you to leave because we should be outside enjoying the day right now.
I like that a lot.
But you think that happens before we make a plan. We just wing it.
Made a plan.
Nope. What do we like to do for fun? Well, I like to go outside and do things, and that's why I do them. But I'm here with Katie because Katie doesn't enjoy doing that.
I do enjoy doing that!
Then maybe you should plan with me because there's two of us, and this Feet Peace thing is not just yours or mine. You are in a cycle. I'm not abusing you anymore. You are done putting me in a position of control where you get to abuse me like your father in his privacy. Fuck you. You can say fuck me too all you want, but that's all you're doing is trying to fuck me. So fuck off. Or grow up, because I deserve better.
Jesus
and you're going to do better, you're going to be better, or you're going to fuck off. And join all your poor asshole friends who are crazy motherfuckers who want their pills, their welfare, and their Walmart food. Got it? Laugh all you want. You think I'm sabotaging myself. I'm not. I feel bad for them. So I'm going to give them a life that they can be entertained by, because I care. While you just shit on me, like they do. You deserve to be poor. You're not in a position to execute, because you just want to avoid the facts, let me talk, you be quiet, and then pretend like I've abused you, because you think you've won right now. And you're a fucking idiot.
This guy's crying right now in a prison cell.
We have both lost.
Crying.
That's not winning. Haters know that. I will be my own fan or my own hater. No one else is going to do the job for me better than I can. So fuck you again.
I guarantee you ain't talking like that.
And you're choosing to be a victim. So go be a victim. You don't belong here.
So what you're witnessing here is very, very common on his live streams with his girlfriend, Caitlin. Caitlin was a very, very religious girl.
How were people sat there
watching? Who got suckered into a relationship with this James Saroka guy. And he ostracized her from her religious family 150%. Now, I did talk to the mother of Caitlin, and she asked me not to share what she said, and I'm going to respect that. But all I will say is that James Saroka has manipulated and emotionally and verbally and physically abused Caitlin to the point of where she's stuck in this relationship with this insane, psychotic man who live streams every aspect of his life to his small amount of viewers, begging people for money, donations, and food. James Saroka literally lives from Motel 6 to Motel 6. Go in the catalog of his old videos, you will see that even his most recent video on his YouTube channel, which, ironically enough, when he tagged me on Twitter and I responded to him, He went back on his YouTube channel and scrubbed every single one of his videos and live stream after interacting with me because he found out that I was compiling and making a video response to him. Combined with that, he did the same thing on his Twitter. He was replying to Repzilla, replying to me, replying to my girlfriend, replying to a bunch of people. Anybody who asked him to clarify or wanting more context, everything, just block.
He really started it off,
delete. Like, it's... This guy's on damage control because after 5 years of constant abuse of everybody around him, bigger eyes are seeing him for what he is. This guy is a psychotic, manic, and I'm not a professional, but in my personal opinion, there's some narcissism here that stems beyond a lot of what I've seen on social media. This is a common trend, though, how he treats his girlfriend publicly, saying things like, you deserve to be poor, constantly berating her, but it gets a lot worse than this.
Josh, the people who ruin my life, Judge Conahan, I'm going to pay for all of them on purpose. That's not sainthood. It's called logic. Give it to me. It's mine. It's my life. It's mine.
This guy's got school shooter all over him, hasn't he?
Because I'm not looking for sainthood. I'm looking for mastery. Mastery that I already have within myself. I want to pay for their sins.
Well, you are doing
since
now,
nobody else will.
Fucking clown. God,
I'm already being punished, quote unquote.
Smirk. Wow.
I make my own punishment. That way no one else can punish me. That's what smart people do.
Say what now?
Make your own punishment. Or realize that there's no punishment to be had. Because people just do wrong. That doesn't make them wrong.
Ironic, eh? Ironic.
Who speaks like this? This is not a normal way to speak, and this
like
was
that?
directed towards Caitlyn.
Really?
One of the common things you're going to see in all these videos, and hundreds of more, which I'm going to be linking because he's deleted so much stuff frequently in the last day or two, that more often than not, Caitlyn is either off-screen, and he's yelling, screaming at her, calling her a liar, saying that she's mentally insane, all the while pompous himself up as being this logical, truthful, honest guy, somehow a saint who runs this non-profit organization called Feet Peace, the most positive community in the world, which, let me just tell you right here, is actually a scam. This is not real. He's using that as a means to funnel, and not funnel, but garner donations from people who are gullible and vulnerable enough to actually think that he's legitimate. You can't start, it's not a non-profit, by the way. There's no non-profit organization. It's a bogus organization that he tried to start up. And he masks it as the most positive community in the world.
Feet Peace,
which is ironic because there's so many of his live streams where that's the exact opposite of what he does. I mean, you're on camera admitting, smiling, and smirking at the fact that you physically hit your girlfriend, and what's his excuse and justification for why he hit his girlfriend?
Things no one needs to judge. I appreciate that, but I hit a woman. So it's kind of like forgiveness is a necessity.
Literally
the reason I did it was because I had worked so hard for what I had here and everything that I built. And the reason I crossed that line is because Caitlyn had lied so heavily to you guys on screen to protect herself and was willing to throw under the bus people who I was throwing under the bus with her on a level that was inappropriate. And then when they came screaming in the window, I couldn't figure out why. And then I'm getting blamed for it. And I'm probably still getting blamed for it. And now I know that I don't have the whole story. And that just really upset me. And so we got in a tussle. And it was
one of the things you'll find often from James Saroka is the level of manipulation or gaslighting. Someone will ask a question and he words it and phrases it in a way that always makes him look innocent. Like, I've been attacked by people. I have felt attacked even in my personal relationships by people who are close to me, but never have I ever laid a hand on somebody physically. And even if somebody did, I know personally, tried to come at my audience or even lied about me, because I've had people lie about me. Everybody's had people lie about them. Whether it's a lie, whether it's true or not, it doesn't justify physically hitting somebody, ever. There's no excuse for physical abuse.
I agree.
Like, I'm not even going to go into the reasoning on why physical abuse is not okay in a relationship.
Really,
but the fact of the matter is, he doesn't take this seriously at all. And one of the things you're going to often find from James Saroka is that he refers to his past. And, like,
and just to clarify, Sheila, he is in jail right now for domestic abuse for hitting his pregnant girlfriend, and it don't look like he's getting out anytime soon. He's got a 25 grand bond, and as you've heard, the guy does not have 25 grand. He probably doesn't have 25 bucks right now. So yeah, keep that in mind, because honestly this would be so much worse if I didn't know he was in jail right now. And he's probably going to get his ass beat in there, like, let's be real. Yeah, sorry to keep pausing.
Moving from my past. I've come out of my past. Well, this all happened literally like a couple months ago. This stuff isn't new, but he acts like his past was like 10 years ago, when the reality is all this stuff is so fresh and new, and it's ongoing still right now with the videos and live streams that he's doing.
No, hitting didn't occur this morning. No, it's been happening over the last couple of months between the two of us. I'm not angry. That's it. I know I seem angry. I'm stern. I'm standing up for myself. Anger is when you lash out at somebody. This is not me lashing out. It may seem that way, but pay very close attention.
Ain't it, Sheila? Good, yeah.
You've seen me have breakdowns before. I know you have. Pay attention to how I'm taking this very seriously, right? There's a difference between just outright mania and me taking this seriously. This is very serious. No hitting has occurred today.
You're right there, Silky. You're right.
No hitting has occurred yesterday. I don't believe. I don't remember. Did you hit me? Did I hit you?
And, do you know, exactly for the reason, yeah, why I wanted to show this to everybody today, because, I mean, obviously, again, Repzion's got like 1 million subscribers. The raising awareness part is already done, but honestly, even if I get just the 7 more people to realise that this guy is a thing, like, this shit is actually happening to someone, and he's doing it online, like, effectively everybody can look out for this guy, and if you see him online or whatever, report his ass. But yeah, I mean, he will get out. He's only going to do a year. That's the maximum sentence apparently that he can do. I don't think he's going to be able to go back near his ex-girlfriend, but yeah, sadly, we need to keep his eye out for this piece of shit, because he's a total scumbag monster.
Yesterday? Yeah, we hit each other yesterday.
I think he'll come back to social media as well when he gets out.
But here's what I'll say. This isn't an act.
He thinks
this is officially drama. A big burning ball of fire that I have created on purpose.
In your own words, before you mock me like a parrot to make fun of me because you think it's funny, but you're fucked up. Tell the truth or get the fuck out of my house.
Jesus.
Yep, look like it. Go ahead. You compose yourself and let me know when you're ready to be an adult and not look like a fucking abused patient that you're not. Because this is a conversation between 2 adults on screen.
God, I hate this guy.
You don't see an attacker when you look at me. People feel bad for you. They want your pain to end or your life to begin. And they're ready to choose for you. But nobody can choose for you because you're an adult! Stop looking at me. I don't want your looks. I don't want you watching my screen. I genuinely want to block you. As you take... What is she doing? She's looking at me in some way, shape, or form just to say that she can. You're going to get kicked out. I'm going to call the police and let them know I'm abusing you.
I'm in it for the big bucks, kid.
Oh my God.
Victimization doesn't make you the big bucks. Shut up.
Don't tell me to shut up.
So go ahead and stand up to me. Take the screen, Katie. Do what your father did. Take it. Just take it. Just keep taking it, like his father. Like your uncle.
Wow, God damn it.
Keep taking.
Talk to people.
She's not acting. She's trying very hard not to act right now. This is a society that we have created with our traditional jobs, with our traditional education, with our man-driven, women-suppressed society. Because it's not grooming, it's not manipulation, it is regular life.
Because that's what traditional, quote-unquote, traditional women do. They screw over the man while the man tries to screw over the woman.
And she
This
doesn't
guy's got a fucked up
believe
view
she
of the
deserves to be
world.
equal. I told her she wasn't, so what did she do? She listened. Equality means this belongs to me. How on earth is that equality? Explain that to me. Explain to me how I'm supposed to tell her that we're equal here. How? Because the second I tell her we're equal, she takes that as, I am a master feminist. I shall destroy men.
She will always
You
be
women
far
who
more than this
disrespect men and
motherfucker
expect
is.
respect in return. Sit on it and rotate, because you do anyway.
She looks scared. She is scared. She's scared. Kate, are you scared of me or them? More scared of them. She's only a little scared of me because she's starting to realize she no longer has a reason to be scared of me. She gave me a reason. Sold into foster care, it's over. You guys were pulled into my atmosphere because I was responsible enough to say, my life is worth it, and I am going to pay for the deficit of everyone, including you, them, Josh, the people who ruined my life, Judge Conahan. I'm going to pay for all of them on purpose. That's not sainthood. It's called logic.
All right. You guys think you're so tough. Let's talk right here. Because I'm not being fake. I'm trying to be respectful to healthy people. I will simply sit here and take your shots as you think you're so smart and special and mature that you are the adult in the room as you drag everyone into the past because you can't handle it. Well, guess what? I will sit in the past with you and I will pat your butt and coddle you until you're ready to move forward because I care. It is not my job to answer to someone else gaslighting content that was inappropriate behavior from the past and then continually bringing it into the future.
Hi Mary, and hi Silky. What is up? I'm in Georgia, sorry.
Just
Georgia.
to get it out in the open and try and get more people talking
about
about
Mary
it.
as well? Someone say
So I'm
Mary
going to let you
as
know
well?
that I've changed.
What is up?
But I am here for you.
Welcome.
And
Sorry,
I
I
will
was on the
happily
other
take
screen.
this on if it means that I can heal the people.
Welcome. Hope you're doing okay.
Who are the people who are taking my past mistakes.
Trigger warning, trigger warning.
Present with them.
This guy's a monster, psycho. This guy who we're watching
Because
is a
that
psycho.
stuff did not happen in front of you initially, and someone else putting it in front of you is just their way of hurting you.
Yeah, he already
No,
tried
James,
to be
I don't want you to be there for me. We all know where that goes down, as I'm going to display a little bit later. This was initially posted and live streamed, the things that you've said and did. You accuse people of, like, trying to take you out of context or, like, gaslight your mistakes when we're actually not doing that. The amount of channels that are dedicated to re-uploading your live streams that you've tried to delete by things that you say is astronomical. And I have a couple of those YouTube channels linked down below. Chronicleize all of his content and upload a lot of his stuff. I'm telling you guys, there's probably over 50 hours, if not more, of footage of James Saroka saying horrible things, doing horrible things, scamming.
George, just real quickly, so this guy that we're talking about is called James Saroka. I don't think it's the one that you're thinking of there, or you might be talking about somebody else. But basically, yeah, this guy, it was like a live streamer, and basically his live streams were just him abusing his girlfriend, mainly verbally. A lot of talking to the camera, but indirectly talking to her, kind of thing. Really, really creepy, manipulative, very, very abusive, more emotionally abusive and verbally abusive. But yeah, it was uploading all this stuff, and effectively, this chap here, Repzion, he like kind of spotted him on Twitter or something like that. And it was at that point where like all eyes started getting on this James Saroka guy. And then, over the period of like a year, like a lot of awarenesses and stuff has been raised about him, and he's now in jail as we speak right now. James Saroka is in jail for the shit that he's been doing. But yeah, so that's the quick rundown just whilst we're there. Not surprised there's a few more yet. There's a bunch of gems on the interweb yet, sadly. He's absolutely delusional and clearly ignorant on many subjects. Just because he knows some big words doesn't mean he knows how to use them. Absolutely. I mean, unbelievable. I don't think I've seen a level of kind of narcissism and self-grandeur ever in my life, which is what makes this chap a very interesting, like, case study, if you like. Total flagship narcissism, flagship emotional abuse, manipulation. So yeah, knowledge is power. The guy is locked up now. It does end well, at least eventually, and it is down to these videos and people like us watching the videos and getting pissed off about it and wanting to do something that He's actually in jail right now. So yeah, that's the basic story. I will continue now. Sorry to keep pausing.
I mean, everybody in his path.
3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, there was a girl who was really trying to solicit me into buying her premium Snapchat. 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, there was a girl, and I wouldn't do it. And I was nice to her, and I was nice to her, and I got to know her, and we became friends. And she sent me $700 for food when I was homeless in the past. And if we don't find a way within 24 hours to figure out just one more month of rent and one more month of food until my next paycheck, but I wouldn't accept her premium. I am an honest guy. So ironically enough, I'm going to turn and ask if there are any of you women out there who do premium. If you're willing to help, this isn't going on my. Do me a favor and don't put this somewhere else, because it's really hard for me to ask for help. But I ask for help out in the public everywhere. This is only going on Snapchat. Nobody else is seeing it. Any of you girls out there that do your premium Snapchats,
And it's so nice to hear him like
got
that.
a couple extra dollars to spare to help us just with food. And, we don't judge you. I've never judged. And
The only reason, that he'll ever get donations is because people are sad for his girlfriend. And it's got fuck all to do with this guy crying. Surely.
because I have just been so angry at people that hurt me, I now have nothing. And so I'm asking you for help, so that I don't have to
begging
lose the
for money.
relationship I have with my girlfriend.
Literally
and that we
begging
don't
for
have to
money.
go homeless, because we will have to by tomorrow. Your help would be appreciated.
Imagine being that pathetic to beg specifically people who do premium Snapchats for money when you're constantly on display verbally and mentally abusing your
Unbelievable.
girlfriend. And this was just posted less than 3 weeks ago on a Snapchat, mind you. So despite the fact that he tries to present like everything's okay, the reality it's not. I can't even imagine the amount of stress that his girlfriend Caitlin has to endure by being with somebody like this who constantly solicits for other people to pay for everything himself. He talks about not being a judgmental person, yet he labels anybody who's gay as somebody who has severe mommy issues. That doesn't really sound like a very positive peace organization type thing to say to people, that gay men all have mommy issues. Like, why would you even say something like that? It's completely unwarranted.
Guys, I am a straight heterosexual, right-wing, white guy from a farm that grew up on a farm in agricultural Pennsylvania. Alright? So, I have my pretenses, but, I do love everybody. I can't relate to homosexuality at all. I do not understand it. For the life of me, I don't understand. All I see is a grown man with mommy issues.
I know.
But what's worse about this is Caitlin's not the only one
What
he's
the
abusing.
fuck?
There's a
Could
person
you
he brought into the
imagine?
relationship known as Josh. Josh is someone who's struggled a lot. And James, pulls him into his small little cult that he's running and
This is the
essentially
guy,
brainwashes in him and starts
Sad
speaking
shit,
for
man.
him, thinks for him, and is using him for every last dime that he has. And this is a 42, 43-year-old man who has had a severe struggle and is so easily vulnerable that James sees this and preys upon these types of people.
Makes me sick, does
This
that.
is Josh. Kate is in the bathroom, and we're the Feet-Piece fam.
It is official. I am now out of 2 toxic relationships.
Everything's moved on. Everything's positive now, so we've moved on. I know he's moved on from everything, so we're going forward now.
Good afternoon, Joshua Cook. Joshua Cook, were you present for the Periscope broadcast where I reamed you out for a quick minute? Josh makes enough for all of our bills, including my debt, and not his own. He is going bankrupt just to cover my debts so he can help me take care of my life. We all just got in a fight, and it wasn't great. And, Josh threw water at me, I threw water at him. And people were right. I was controlling in the beginning. People were right. Kate and Josh were unhealthy. And the only reason I don't look unhealthy is because of my thyroid problem.
You guys got some
I'm
serious
overweight because of my
fucked up
thyroid
issues.
problem, but we are all more or less decently malnourished. Josh, you don't deserve that attention because you want negative attention, and you're 43. All right? We're growing up now because I need to eat, and nobody gets in the way of me eating anymore. Not even your false paycheck. He was willing to become this just to feel important or feel like someone hurt him.
Jesus Christ.
The way that he speaks to Josh, the way that he speaks to Caitlyn in these clips is so clearly demonstrated of how manipulative and evil this guy is.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Josh, Caitlyn, these people actually need help. But this delusional, psychotic madman has full, almost brainwashing control over them. They do. And for the last 5 years, people have been chronologizing these videos and trying to get these people help to get away from him, but somehow he reels them back in every single time. I don't know how he does it, other than the fact that the people that he's taking advantage of are very vulnerable, and he knows that, and he plays upon that.
I know, Declan, right? I mean, you know, as a guy as well, like, you know, Declan, I'm sure you can appreciate this, but as a dude, it's even fucking worse to see this shit, because it honestly reflects badly on everyone, right? Like, I swear I can imagine nobody that wants to stomp this guy more than any fucking man with half a soul. Seriously. Like, this is so far from what any decent guy would behave like. And honestly, it makes me feel extra upset that this guy is just a dude. And I mean, I don't know, that's inconsequential really, but it really does fuck my head up so bad that somebody could behave this way with somebody that loves and trusts and cares for them. Like, wow. It honestly boils my blood. Again, this guy is in jail rotting now, and I can only imagine what his cellmate is doing to him. But I can almost guarantee you he ain't fucking talking like this to people anyway.
Thing I've probably ever done.
And Caitlyn's gone. She's back to her family now. This chick here, she's gone. I don't think she'll ever see him again now. I fucking damn well hope not. Anyway.
I'll volunteer that. Sometimes I would literally be so exhausted and destroyed, I could not wipe my own blood. Like, I literally could not muster the energy. And then I would get on a live stream.
Man is a chode.
Just to try and
That's so funny.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
I make some mistakes, but you know what? Literally, I was an invalid. And I would still turn on that camera. And I would act like I would act like I'm okay. Like, I don't quit. Even when I go insane, I don't quit.
Sometimes I would be so exhausted, so destroyed, that I couldn't wipe my own butt. So instead, he forces his girlfriend to wipe his own ass, only then to get on live stream for Periscope minutes afterwards. Now, if this is not a clear demonstration of humiliating your partner in a way to degrade them, I don't know what is. If you're in a relationship and your significant other is like physically can't wipe their own butt, then that's completely different.
Yeah, of course.
But this is somebody who all he does is do live streams on Periscope. That's his career. Posts some of his live streams on YouTube. That's it. Does a podcast that nobody listens to. Do you think people find this funny? That you force your girlfriend to wipe your own ass because you're too exhausted? But then you go and get on live, like that completely, you can't be exhausted enough. Because live streaming is a lot of work, by the way. I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Repzion. You should follow me there. But it does not stop there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
this
she's
is one of the
getting the help
most
she needs
enraging
now.
parts of all
She's
of this.
getting
A
the
girl
help
by the
she
name
needs
of
now.
Dom popped into one of his live streams who expressed that she was struggling and in the hospital with Crohn's disease. And within 24 hours of him interacting with her, he flew out to her, claiming that he wants to help her with her struggle of Crohn's disease. This is while she's in a hospital. He tells her that he's going to make a campaign so she can have her medical bills paid, all the while trying to hit on her in the hospital, kiss her without her consent in the hospital, leave and not give her a single penny of the donations that he received for her medical bills. She saw absolutely nothing.
And so you started, how did you get on Periscope? Because I don't think we talked about that.
When I was in, like I said, I had a month-long stay. I was really bored, and I just heard about something you can go live on and people talk to you, so I downloaded it, and I started my own live, and then people would ask questions and start following me and caring about what was going on. And that's why Jimmy got me.
Sorry, try to turn that down a little bit.
Did you know that he was going to come visit you at the hospital, like, prior? Like, did you have advance notice?
Yeah, I mean, okay, he talked me for like a few hours, and then said he was really interested in my story, and then he flew down within 24 hours.
Within a day? Mm-hmm.
was going to be something good, but it wasn't. I mean, after the
Oh,
second
bless her,
episode, I
man.
started getting a bunch of red flags from him.
Fuck's sake.
From the stuff he would say.
What kind of things did he say? Like, what was something that you can think of that kind of was just off-putting to you or weird?
Well, after the second day, he helped me with all my social media. I started getting more views than him, and it was just like 300. I'm like, I thought you were famous. How do I have more views than you? He said he was famous.
Oh, he said he was famous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, Tatty. Hi. What is up, Tatty?
Periscoper that went to go visit you.
Yeah, he said the same thing. I'm feet peace, I spread peace and positivity.
I thought you were famous. Yeah. I mean, bless her though. Like, she's trying to spread Crohn's awareness, you know what I mean? So I totally gel with that. Like, it's fucked up that James Saroka even thought about doing this for, you know, as soon as he's seen her as a target, like. Oof. But welcome, Tati, welcome. Trigger warning, Tati. But, we're diving into Onision 6.0 here. Yeah, real doucheword. You might even like this, Tati. You might have even seen it even. James Saroka. Sorry.
He literally grabbed me and kissed me without even asking.
Wow, big yikes. Big yikes. That's legit like SA, right? How was this guy allowed to leave that fucking place?
What I walked up to do, but I was walking back to my bed and then he just grabbed me and kissed me.
So at what point did he leave? Did you ask him to leave? Did you want him to leave?
I wanted him to leave, but here's the thing, like, in my childhood, I've been through so much, and family has done stuff to me, and when I spoke up about it, no one cared. And there's just so much stuff that's happened to me and no one cared. So around that time, I just didn't speak up. I just let things slide because I thought no one would do anything about it. And I don't know, it was stupid of me. I should have told him to leave.
It's not stupid. Like when you go through abuse, and you and I talked like a little bit beforehand, it kind of it changes you. People get away with a lot more things because you're just used to it.
This particular video, conversation of fertility, having an egg implanted into a woman who can't get pregnant, is brought up in a live stream. And I want you to pay attention very, very carefully to what James does here and his mannerisms, and see this particular pattern that he displays constantly throughout almost every single one of his live streams with Caitlin.
You didn't forget. You're just afraid they want to talk about it. You could have just said, I don't want to talk about it. You genuinely didn't remember?
I didn't remember.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about something with food.
Do you want to tell them now that I look like an idiot? I made myself look like an idiot. Will you save me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, just the.
Yeah. No, it's terrible, innit?
When we're looking into options for extra cash, they say, like, oh, you can sell your eggs and then you can make lots of money. But I looked into it, and it is definitely, if you're doing it, it is definitely more than just for money. It is an act of love, because you have to inject yourself with all these hormones to make, I forget the exact terminology, but things in your body like swell up so that they can harvest the eggs, and it's painful and it messes with your hormones, and it's a really beautiful thing to do out of love, but it's not for me.
Katie.
Yeah.
You're really gonna have to learn to stop lying, because you're destroying people with what you just said.
Wow.
You know you lied just through your teeth to protect yourself from people. And you just hurt a lot of people, so we're going to go ahead and shut down.
I would personally not do it, because I don't think it's right to put your body through that.
Katie.
Yeah.
Oh, God, this guy's awful.
I'm going to go tell people the truth. I'm going to have a conversation with people about the truth. You know what? You can lie at college, okay? You go lie to caller. Say it's because I put you on the spot. Did I make you uncomfortable, or did I start talking about something that's comfortable to talk about? If you weren't comfortable to talk about it in private, you shouldn't have talked about it in private, or in public. You shouldn't talk about it with me in private, because if you haven't noticed, my life is pretty much public, and I have every comfort to talk about the truth in public.
See, this is
and if you plan to just talk about the truth in private and then lie to them in public, it's gonna fuck up their life. You're the one that's okay with that because you want to protect yourself. You're just a narcissist.
He was doing this for 5 years. He's now in jail.
I'm not doing this shit.
Again, I have to keep saying it because otherwise I legit will not be able to keep watching it.
So the fact is, they pump you up with human.
This piece of shit, we don't need to hear him. This piece of shit is now in jail.
Puts chemicals in some of your...
we don't need to hear about it. Right, basically, that's kind of like the end of that one. What I think we should do, though, is skip the second one, because we kind of got all we needed to hear about that guy and see about that guy. Let's just skip to the satisfying bit, because I think we've all seen enough of that.
44 Troopy Draws. There's a winner every minute on Jackpot Joy.
They pretty much made those videos to make me look like...
But yeah, okay, so fast forward a year later. Here's the happy ending. I haven't actually seen this one either, but I just know that he's arrested and he's probably going to get a year for it, and his girlfriend's done one now. She's back with her family, and her family obviously won't let her go near him again. Like, I'm pretty sure at that point that must be obvious. And yeah, so this is... Sorry, can I just clarify? He did this for 5 years, only got 1 year in jail. What the fuck? So I think the thing that he's actually getting sent to jail for is physically attacking his girlfriend recently. I'm not sure if any of this has even been brought up yet. I think it got brought up in like the trial or something like that, or it's gonna get brought up. I don't know if he's been at trial. But he very well could get charged for other things, like that's the thing, right? I mean, at the moment he's getting charged for one particular incident that got him locked up, but as is the case with a lot of criminals, once they get you inside, like seriously, if you've like farted out in public, they'll do you for that whilst they've got you. They might as well, you know what I mean? So that's usually the case, and I hope to gosh that somebody that is important sees this shit. That video we just watched has got 1 million views now. That's not like a small amount of people that have seen this and most likely been pissed off with this guy. And as you'll see in this video, there has been like a social media storm about it since that first video that we watched. And we got that out of 12 good behaviour. Yeah, the law is terrible. Like, I must agree. Sometimes it fails. It does. I mean... It is really sad. I mean, I try to focus on the times where it gets it right, because there is times where the law has got it correct and it's been all right. But man, yeah, it is kind of sad. There's a lot of really, really terrible sentences getting given out to people. Who makes up this shit? Yeah, you can't just be a good little boy after torturing somebody. I know. There was one that I watched recently. You might have seen the guy. It was like a sort of a big dude with like long hair. And in his like interrogation, it was very, very direct. It was very calm, very, very cordial. It basically asked his roommate to drive him to Walmart at like 12 midnight, and then asked him to go down this dirt road, shot him, and then basically like got grabbed and shit, like got caught for it. But yeah, he got let out after like a month, mate. Like seriously, I would unbelievably shocked at that. I did a thesis on abuse cycle at uni. If she killed him in the middle of the night, she would have had a great case for a self-defense basis on the prolonged narcissistic abuse. Just saying. Yeah. And let that be a message to anybody out there. Yeah, you can actually get away with... Yeah, I mean, don't take it from me, take it from somebody who studied that shit. But real good case for self-defense in at least most parts of the world. A lot of parts of law do recognise that kind of stuff now, so... A lot about the law is knowing how to use it to your advantage. Like, if you really know how to use the law. You can get somebody sent away for life for just about anything. Like, you really can. I believe people should have second chances and all, but I do not believe the second chances has to be under the same circumstances. Yeah, absolutely. And to a certain extent, like, I mean, just because I say that I believe in giving people second chances, I don't think that automatically means that a murderer can get a second chance, somebody who's hard somebody can get a second chance, somebody who's stabbed somebody up in cold blood can get a second. No, like, I don't really think that it should stretch to that, to be honest. I think that somebody who's made the choice to do that with sound body and mind does not deserve to be with the rest of humanity, not only because they're a danger to everybody, but because they don't deserve that kind of treatment. I mean, man, in my opinion, like, it's a tough one. There's a lot of philosophical sort of ramifications when you say that those kind of people don't deserve to be around. So I maybe wouldn't go as far as to say that, but then keeping these people alive through state-funded money is also pretty messed up. So there's a lot of nuance to it. There is, and I understand that. But at the same time, man, I just feel like this guy right now shouldn't be around people. Like, he's not supposed to be around people. He'll be a danger even to the psych ward. Exactly. And when you've been this horrible to people, like, should you really be allowed to be near people? I mean, when it's this clear cut, like, it is this clear cut. This dude has legit gone on live streamed this shit. Like, there's one thing, you know, like, having a fight with your girlfriend on a drunk night or whatever, but this guy has consistently done this shit now for multiple years on live stream. I think he's kind of given that chance up now a long time ago. And right, I know, yeah, and I think exactly, he shouldn't even be around anybody because he's a danger to humans at this point. And I don't know, I think when, the evidence is this vast and just this obvious, like, you don't have to have, like, a professional background to see what this guy is doing is very evil, very dangerous. All you need to have is a soul. Like, that's the only requirement to understand what this guy is doing is so fucking wrong, so fucked up. We waste so much money in the US on military to kill and cripple people who won't give away their own resources because we are greedy assholes, so I'd much rather pay for rehabilitation with that money. Absolutely, very good point. You know, we do spend a lot on military, even the UK, you know, spend a shitload on military. So, yeah, maybe let's, you know, invade one less poor country this year and keep people like James Saroka in jail forever away from everybody. And who gives a shit? Feed him 1 meal a day. Give him just enough to survive, mate. I'm not particularly bothered if he's a little hungry. Like, I'm really not. Like, really, I'm not. That, in my opinion, is fine. Like, these people do deserve to be treated like shit. I think they do. They do deserve that treatment back. Why don't they? Like, what on earth gives these people the right to be treated fairly after they've done something, like, so clear-cut? Like, I have to just reiterate that it is super evident, you know? Like, there is no argument about this guy's guilt or innocence. It's not going to be a case of, in a couple of years, we've locked up an innocent man and been super cruel to somebody who didn't deserve it. No. This guy right now deserves it. Like, he really does. Some people in jail get treated so nicely, and I don't know why. Yes, they do. And it's really strange. It is. I mean, I guess as a CO, somebody who works in the jails, I mean, yeah, sure. You don't particularly want people that are going to be going out of the way to be horrible to people. I get that, but at the same time, yeah, people like this shouldn't be getting treated nicely. They should be reminded in every single interaction that they have with a human being from then on that they are a piece of shit. And I don't think that's going too far. Personally, in my opinion, I don't think that is going too far. It's definitely harsh, yeah, absolutely. The guy is going to feel pretty shitty about that. But I would argue that's well deserved. Like, I really would. And like Lena says there, you know, I do think that people in jail don't typically like people like this. So, you know, maybe something will happen. Yeah, exactly. Like, homeless people have to deal with so much, and people in jail have clean bed and meals and have it delivered to them and shit. Absolutely. Like, you know, we could definitely be taking away 2 of the 3 or 4 meals that we're giving inmates a day to go give to homeless people. Like, yeah, I mean, there isn't a money problem in the world. Let's be real. There is no money or resource problem. There's enough food, water, and shelter for everybody. It's a distribution problem and an ownership problem that we are having on this planet. Not to do with, like, the amount of land that we've got or anything. It's literally like that, yeah. But anyway, is his own worst enemy, yeah. I'm not God, but I don't want that responsibility, yeah, with a narcissist. I mean, yeah, there's a lot to be said, and there's definitely a nuanced argument to be said about people like this and jails. We had this talk the other day, and honestly, it can last forever because there's lots of little avenues and lots of little rebuttals that you can sort of devise back to a lot of the, well, I support death penalty sort of statements. So I do try and stay away from those kind of overt sort of admissions. But honestly, I don't think that people like this need to be about. I don't think in a progressive society, which is what I hope we are all trying to aim to be in, people like this are doing anything for us. I don't think they're doing out good. Like, take him away at least. Like, don't let him out. Whatever the situation is, there should never be a question of letting this person back near people again. But right, let's just see what happened to him recently. So this was a couple of days ago that all this has unfolded. It's quite sweet to watch, especially after you've just endured like nearly an hour of this guy being an absolute piece of shit to a lady that totally did not deserve it. It's quite sweet to watch. So yeah, I feel like I owe you all this. It's only 15 minutes long. I only watched the first like 5 minutes of it or something, so I want to watch this too.
Like I'm a really harmful person to make people not want to come around me so that I'd feel lonely.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is a fantastic day.
Y'all can keep chatting in the chat though, like please go crazy. I'll go back and read it afterwards and I'll go through it all again. But I'm just going to let this play through whilst you lot chat and whatever. Yeah, but you don't have to stop chatting.
Let me tell you why. Well, let me introduce to... Welcome to the James Saroka Files, Episode 3. The 3rd video in the trilogy that has a miracle which has occurred. And yes, that's James' mugshot. For those of you who don't know, over a year and a half ago, I covered a guy on YouTube called James Saroka. I made a video on this channel called James Saroka, a worse Onision. I then followed up that video with a part 2, and now here we are at a part 3. And I have to do a congratulatory shot. I've been drinking these like a fiend recently. Highly recommend if they're at your local grocery store, try them. But yes, James Saroka has been arrested, and he is currently set on $25,000 bond. And you know what his charges were? Can you imagine what James Saroka's charges were? I'm going to let you guys guess in the comment section. In episode 1, we established that there was a very, very large pattern of behavior of him sitting down with his girlfriend at the time, and he would live stream these really obscure, bizarre arguments of him literally berating her in front of a camera on a live stream over and over and over again. You can see all of these clips in episode 1. But before we go in the specifics of the actual case and the police report incident, special thanks to our sponsor of the channel today. You've heard of them before. They've been sponsoring us every month now, known as Raycon. They've been really high on the market. Should not be off your every single night. Go wireless. You won't be.
If the police do come here to investigate or to bother me, if they knock on that door and I am in the middle of work and they have not done the proper procedure to make sure whether or not there is any danger, I can sue the town.
Well now, James, it seems like the police actually did their job. And I'm really curious on how that lawsuit towards the town is going to go, considering that you're sitting in jail, $25,000 bond, for hitting your pregnant girlfriend.
I had some psychotic narcissists in my life. That's part of how I became so mean. I don't like violence personally. I don't either. I have definitely grown an appreciation and an understanding that everything in life has a purpose and a place. I'll eat a grape. But then I think to myself, I'm like, if I have people attempting to entrap me for being homeless and want to put me in jail anyway. Do I hit two birds with one stone? Literally.
Oh, God.
I think it's best to remain docile. I do.
It seems to me, James, that you definitely accomplished the two birds with one stone. And maybe that's not the metaphor that you were looking for, considering that you hit a woman and a child. DV is repulsive. It doesn't matter what they say to you. You are always responsible for how you react in a given situation. If you react with violence and choose to hit a partner, you are responsible for your reaction. But I want to give a thank you to each and every one of you guys who watched my original James Saroka video, part 1, because that video was actually had no ads on it, and somehow, some way, that video still managed to hit over 1 million views.
Oh, you on the internet? Yes! Hurrah! Yes! Join 32 Red and get a welcome bonus up to £150.
Look what he's become. Look what
Plus,
he's
you
become.
can take a spin on some of these great games. Incredible! Join 32 Red today.
Gamble safe, everybody.
And I'm really thankful for everybody who shared it, watched it, spread it, because when you find people on the internet like James Saroka or Nathan Larson, bringing awareness to these types of people is really, really, really important, especially if they have a small, tiny little audience of dedicated people who are already documenting everything that they're doing wrong or criminal activity or whatever, right? But I had so many people come to me about James Saroka. James Saroka, you got to cover this guy, you got to cover this guy. So eventually I took interest in it, I dived into it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is terrifying. This guy is crazy.
Yeah.
And the worst part of all the evidence is literally right there in front of us. It's on the internet. He's posting it. He's live streaming this stuff. How has people not covered this yet? And again, thank you to each and every one of you guys who shared my original video. It never hurts to have more eyes on somebody like James Saroka or...
Innit? And this is why I get a bit upset when I hear people complaining about cancel culture. Like, sure, cancel culture could definitely be a little bit, you know, more fair, but it gets people like this in jail sometimes. And I mean, holy shit, man, we can't be like getting rid of that power completely and just having done with it all because, like, you know, we've got it wrong a couple of times, effectively. Like, what we should be doing is learning from those times and being more careful in the future, which is what people are doing. But, man, this is why it's important to be able to band together and actually have a say, because people like this otherwise get away with shit, man.
Or in another case, Nathan Larson. Those are just two people in the last year and a half that have been arrested. Not specifically because of me, but I've covered these people and I have brought more awareness to the internet because it needed to happen. And the more eyes that you have on somebody like Nathan or James, because they can't hide their behavior because so many people know about them. Lies will always seep through the cracks. The truth will always come out eventually. But I'm getting sidetracked. So let's actually cover the police incident report.
Craig and Lori, in these videos posted to social media, Saroka repeatedly yells and cusses at the victim, calls her names, and berates her. Investigators say Saroka completely cut her off from the outside world, but because of Oklahoma law, Saroka is only in jail on a misdemeanor.
And you're gonna do better, you're gonna be better, you're
going to get kicked out. I'm going to call the police and let them know I'm abusing you. Stop looking at me. I don't want your looks. I don't want you watching my screen.
hit a woman. So it's kind of like forgiveness is a necessity.
These are just a few of the many videos all over the internet that Rogers County deputies call absolutely disturbing.
Let me talk, you be quiet, and then pretend like I've abused you, because you think you won right now, and you're choosing to be a victim. So go be a victim.
When you see the mental and emotional abuse that he is, he's exposed her to, and the whole way he's just been digging his hooks into her deeper and, brainwashing her.
Deputies say a witness saw Saroka beating on his pregnant wife as they were walking along Highway 20 in Claremore on Sunday. When deputies got there, Saroka refused to talk to them, and the victim kept asking Saroka for permission to talk. That's when deputies knew something was wrong and say she showed signs of battered women's syndrome.
It's a textbook example of it. She's afraid of talking to the outside world. She's has no control over the finances. She has
Look,
no
like,
control
they
over
know
what she
now.
can do or where she can go.
Deputies later learned the victim's family had been searching for her for the last 3 years.
That's what I mean.
They say Saroka and the victim have been traveling around the country, living in hotels.
As a prosecutor, it's hard when you see what we consider to be violent crimes that are classified nonviolent, and domestic abuse on a pregnant woman is a perfect example of that.
Now, there has been a movement on social media to get Saroka completely removed from the internet. Now, the maximum punishment Saroka faces is up to 1 year in county jail and a fine. Now, I have reached out to the jail staff to ask Saroka for an interview, but he declined that request. Live in Rogers County, Reagan Ledbetter, Oklahoma Zone, News on 6.
On July 25th, 2021, approximately 8:20 p.m., Deputy Dorsey was dispatched to a 1379 Highway 20 in reference to a fight. The reporting party told dispatch that they observed a male strike a pregnant female in the face 3 times in front of Rogers County Pawn Shop. When I arrived at the location, I observed a male and female walking eastbound on the north side of Highway 20. The male, identified by his Pennsylvania driver's license, James Saroka, was immediately hostile towards law enforcement officers present. James began to make statements that were synonymous with being a sovereign citizen and refused to communicate with officers. The female, identified as Pennsylvania driver's license Caitlin, exhibited indicators of battered woman syndrome and would not speak to officers present, repeatedly attempting to communicate with James for permission to do anything. Caitlin was visibly pregnant at the time of the incident. Due to the allegations that were made by the purporting party and the indicators of that Caitlin exhibited, James was placed under arrest for assault and battery on a pregnant female. And right now he's sitting at $25,000 in bail. But the most disturbing part of all of this is that I found out through this news channel and the fact that I looked it up myself because I was curious on Oklahoma laws on DV cases, and I found that technically this does not fall under a violent crime. And to me, it just is like, what the fuck? If you have somebody striking a woman in the face crime. 3 times who is not only pregnant, how does that not fall under non-violent crimes? Like, I realize every state is different on what they entail legally, on what they determine what is violent and what is not. But this is just the most skewed level of legislation that I've ever heard of. And I don't know what I could do, but this needs to change. Like, the legislation on what is considered a violent crime needs to change, because this isn't right, and it's completely broken the laws that they have set in force in Oklahoma when somebody can strike a pregnant woman 3 times and it not fall under violent crime. Like, at that point, what exactly do they have to do for it to be violent if striking your partner isn't considered violent? Regardless of the screwed up laws in law enforcement, all I can say is that I'm glad this guy is finally getting what he deserves. For several reasons. 1, he has completely manipulated and stolen Kate from her family of almost 3 years. The family couldn't even find her. I really wish other charges could be brought up against James, but I don't see that really happening, because not only the length of when they happened, but just because the people who were scammed really never filed reports with the police, as far as I'm aware. James Saroka started a non-profit organization called Feet Peace, in which he was trying to get people to donate him money on this like peaceful non-profit organization on self-help, which is extremely ironic considering his past history online. He was pretending to be a big influencer on Periscope for a few months, pretending that he had sponsorships with multiple different companies, which I cover in part 2 of James Saroka. And then people reached out to the company and found out, oh my gosh, this guy is claiming that he's sponsored by companies that he's actually not sponsored by, and we want no affiliation with him. He stole money and a bike from a war veteran who took pity on the guy, also in episode 2. Like, this guy is a crazy piece of work, and he always talks about his occupation. He's an influencer, all the while living from hotel to hotel, always telling people that he's homeless, and always asking people on Twitter and social media for help and donations and money. I would like to just highlight here that James Saroka is what a grifter is. Like, the term grifter is often not used properly when you're constantly like begging and crying on camera for money because you refuse to work or have a job, while simply relying upon the kindness of random
Periscope was just like a live streaming function on Twitter. So it started as its own platform, like Twitch or like YouTube or whatever. It just started as its own platform, and then Twitter ended up buying it and adding it onto to like their thing, and it was basically then just turned into Twitter's live streaming service when everybody were doing the whole live streaming. But yeah, he's not famous. He ain't an influencer. I don't know how he's even able to live from motel to motel, because like even that's still, you know, a couple £100 a week, right? I mean, who the heck is giving this guy money is what I want to know, because I mean, bloody hell. Unless they're just feeling sorry for the missus, as to which I totally understand, like, honestly. But, oh, man.
Stranger.
We'll talk about the laws on domestic abuse in a second, and Danielle and Tati are going into something really interesting
online kind of have a problem there. You combine all of these things with also being abusive at the same time, and you got a double whammy of a narcissistic, fraudulent, physical abuser. And how do you fix that? How do you stop that? What I'm really hoping for in this incident is that at some point, I tried diving into the case here, and I was trying to figure out if we could see any, like, if the police at that Oklahoma Police Department had any body cam footage, because that's what I really, really want to see. As far as I'm aware, James Saroka is finished with this. He can face up to 1 year in jail. I'm hoping to motherfucking God.
Yeah, okay, we'll leave that there. So, obviously, this guy now, James Saroka... Oh, shit. This guy now, James Saroka, is... obviously done, at least as far as like being you know, some kind of internet influencer or live streamer of any sort or whatever. The guy is finished now. He's been on like local news. I only use Twitter for news. Yeah, most people probably do, to be honest. I guess this is what I mean. Like, nobody is effectively you know, famous on Periscope. Like you're just about famous if you've got like a couple million subs on YouTube, and even then it's questionable. Like, there's people with, you know, 50 or 100 million subs, so yeah. It makes me mad domestic abuse doesn't have stronger punishment, so I didn't actually know that it would have been inconsistent like that. It makes sense now, it's obviously said out loud. Different states tend to have different laws, but what kind of a precedent does that set when, you know, you can effectively physically assault someone and it's not considered a violent crime? Physically assault a pregnant lady and it isn't considered a violent crime. Like, that is some, like, 1920s ass bullshit right there. But I really don't know what is going on with those. It is really sad, that, like, honestly. She's right. Should be freeing inmates for non-violent crimes, particularly possession of Mary Jane related crimes. Absolutely, could not agree with that more. You see, like, we do have a big problem with like overcrowding and the likes in prisons, and yeah, agreed, that definitely is a big problem. But yeah, we are locking people up for things like, you know, possession of weed and stuff. So there's definitely areas that we could be sort of changing things up a little bit. Sorry. Not considered violent unless the person attacked says anything, right? So she probably just wants to get the hell away from the guy now, which is why it won't be considered as that. That's pretty strange still, though. You know, it's violent whether or not the person who's been hit says it or not. I mean, like, you know, more times than not, you'll often see the person that's getting hit saying it wasn't violent and stuff because they don't want to get hit again. It's like, that's obvious. At that point, the law has a duty or responsibility to step in and take these people away from these people that are being hit. Like, it's the whole point, right? Yeah, inconsistent and fucked up laws, man. That is crazy. That is madness. Technically, if you're in prison, you're effectively property of the state. Yeah, that's the difference between being homeless, Tati, right? And being homeless and being in jail. When you're in jail, they've made a conscious effort, a decision to, you know, take you in. there is ways, like, even over here, if you're homeless, you can go to a police station and they can do something for you. But, yeah, I think that there's a lot more effort being made for people that have murdered other people, and there is, you know, people that are suffering from things like, you know, terrible drug addictions and all kinds of mental health issues that are out on the streets, which I think is fundamentally flawed and just terribly wrong. But yeah, like, of course, the duty of care is provided under, like, the Constitution, so it's something that, although you might not agree with as somebody who, you know, lives by the Constitution, it's something that most people would advocate for to a certain extent. But whether there should be more funding for the homeless is a separate issue to the whole prison thing. It is, it definitely is. But at the same time, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if, you know, we could let people out of prison and then use that money that we was going to use on keeping those people in prison to help people that was homeless? And I mean, I don't understand why that couldn't be a thing. Like, you know, it could happen, but there's so much red tape within today's flipping world that it'll take forever to happen, which is super sad. But yeah, Oklahoma, I've heard, who else were in Oklahoma now and they did some crazy shit? We're at Timothy McVeigh in Oklahoma. And he got treated really nice. I can't remember who it was, but I can remember somebody and it was in Oklahoma, they did some mad shit and they were getting treated really nice and I was like, what the heck? But I know that happens everywhere though. Most of the time when you see interrogations and you see the lead detective being nice to them, it's usually something called the peace technique. It's an interrogation technique opposite to... I can't remember what the other one's called now. No, I can't even remember what it's called, but there's one that they use and they've been using for like 70 years. Oh, god damn it. Oh, the read technique. That's the one, the read technique. So that's another common one that they use. But the read technique is often one that people use as well. But yeah, when they're trying to be nice to them, it is usually because they're trying to get some information out of them. They're trying to get them to say more things that's going to later incriminate them, kind of thing. The law is extremely convoluted and unfair in practice. One of the main reasons I don't practice. Yep. The law is, it is, and the thing with law, and I mean, I only learned this recently, like in the last sort of 5-10 years, but, you know, laws are still been determined, and, you know, laws can always be changed. They get took to the Supreme Court, and that's like precedent-setting sort of court cases, and it's very, very strange. I find law absolutely fascinating, but I don't find it to be very fair. Yeah, most of the time, law in the real world doesn't. It's very political, and I mean that not as in like, you know, political, but very bureaucratic and just knowing what to do and where to do it and what you're allowed to say and what you're not. And it's all a big game, really, isn't it? Like, and I think I'd get pretty annoyed with it. But it is very interesting. It is interesting. I do think that there's a lot more that could be done as well. Like, I mean, who knows what and who knows where. Like, there's so many unintended consequences with any change that it is really hard to say what changes would be done where. But I do think that we are doing it in just an not unsustainable, but very inefficient way. There's a lot of people that are getting falsely accused, and what happens then is people get falsely accused, they get exonerated 3 years later, and then get a couple million in compensation, and like that is costing so much to taxpayers, man. Because you know, the taxpayers that pay for that shit, or at least it is over here. Off topic, but Canada's women team won the gold in soccer, football, nice. Go on, Canada's women team. I used to really like watching football. Especially like international games. They were definitely my favourite kind of games to watch. even if it wasn't like England playing, I just really like to see international football. Loved Brazil, loved Argentina, loved Germany. They had such a good team for so long. Portugal, Spain, France. I mean, I literally love all the international teams. Italy, shout out Italy for the Euros. That puts criminal black mask over eyes. Yeah, and it like that's funny. If Tati's not about, she works within law, but I don't think a lawyer particularly, and I think that's by choice. Yeah, I don't go to court. I've worked in office legal jobs, compliance related or in-house corporate legal. Right, okay. I mean, I have no idea what any of that means, but yeah, I understand that you don't go to court. I understand that bit. Yeah, the whole going to court would be a really exhaustive process, even for the lawyers and stuff, like, really exhaustive process. Again, I do think that being a lawyer would be nice sometimes, but I think I've told the story about it can kill your soul. Absolutely. I think I've told the story about my friend's older sister, who was a barrister, I think we call them over here, a solicitor, which is basically a lawyer. We just call them solicitors. She was a solicitor over here, and she worked for some quite high-profile cases. A lot of the time she was working on like defence, and you know, defence is usually defending innocent people. That's the kind of cases that she usually kind of took, which then in turn can be very rewarding, you know, just personally, like, you know, getting innocent people off out of a really unfair justice system. What a wonderful job. But she got tasked with facing a guy that had done something incredibly heinous and actually admitted to the law firm, somebody else, that he'd done this crime. But nonetheless, they was working defence, and for the sake of the reputation, the job, you know, the firm, it's in the best interest to win the case and get the guy off. Obviously, that's how it works, right? What happened is they ended up getting this guy off, and it affected her in a really deep way, which, I mean, you can obviously imagine, right? Especially as a lady, and it was a heinous crime towards a lady. But yeah, you know, like, can be a really difficult job for sure. It's a cat in a burglar mask. I don't know why I wouldn't think of that. I believe that. I would jump on a podium at a judge. I can feel it. I would jump at a podium at a judge. I can feel it in my bones. I don't really like judges either. I don't like this whole automatically got to honour these people and respect these people because of, like, you know, what the judging people, which is something I don't really agree with too much. At least not without knowing the person, like, really. I mean, yeah. You get kicked out, but it'd be worth it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They don't take no shit, that's for sure. That is for sure. I've only ever been in a courtroom, I think, once in my life, possibly twice. I think it was only the one time, though. And it wasn't, I mean, I wasn't obviously working. I wasn't there working, sadly. But yeah, it wasn't nice. Very, very horrible experience, and definitely enough to put me off wanting to do crime. Like, I did not want to be back there for anything, and I was only there for a driving offence. And I say only, that's actually like a very terrible thing to be there for. It wasn't a bad driving offence, it was like a speeding ticket kind of, and I was a little high, apparently, so they say, but I actually wasn't, because I was on my way to get my weed and it was the morning. So yeah, one of the problems is the emphasis on the procedural aspects. Yes, someone can be in and out of jail in holding, but 3 years before a judgment comes out and they're innocent. Yeah, that they're innocent, that is crazy. Yeah, I mean, there was a really famous case called Caliph Browder in America, if you remember that one. It was a young coloured teen in America, and effectively got wrongly profiled for a shooting. It was a really sweet young lad. He'd never been any part of a gang. He wasn't doing no drugs or all. It was just a young lad getting on with his shit. Sadly, he lived in a bit of a rough neighbourhood or whatever, and someone had gone down a couple of blocks away, and they basically took him in for it. This poor kid ended up doing time in Rikers, like Rikers Island, one of the probably most famously notorious prisons after like Alcatraz and shit. Like, man, I've heard so much about Rikers, and I'm here over here in Bradford, you know what I mean? So yeah, he went to Rikers for a bit, and obviously done nothing wrong. He was waiting for his court date, and some of the shit that happened in Rikers were terrible. I mean, if you know the story of Caliph Browder, you know how it goes. And I'm just gonna end by saying R.I.P. to that young man, because it was a fucking horrific way that he basically got bullied out of his life effectively. And man, I shed tears of guilt when I heard that story of him. When you spend time with an innocent person, even for a small crime, jail F's you up for life. Even if you're innocent, odds up you'll end up there again. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, going into a place where all these criminals are and stuff, I know sending me to a place like that would destroy me. I wouldn't know what to do. It'd turn me into an animal. Like, I'd go into survival mode. Like, I'd have to. Like, that's kind of the way that you at least envision it, you know what I mean? So, yeah, not nice, man, not nice. And prisons over here are fuck all, generally speaking, in comparison to something like Rikers, which is a true tough jail. Like, there's real criminals in there. It ain't a joke of a place, Rikers, like, really in. And I can imagine that has some psychological effects on anybody, because that ain't cool, man. That really ain't cool. But yeah, man, I would be jailed 100. I'm the type of person that tells Robert to pull the trigger, so I would absolutely lose my shit if someone gets cheeky with me. I'm loud and outspoken to a fault. Bless you. It's why we love you, Danielle. It's why we love you. Gotta love it. But yeah, the procedural aspects are terrible with court. Like, it is, it takes far too long. I have a suggestion for future, but it's a dark topic, but really interesting. Effect of the death penalty on crime statistics. There have been full studies. There has. Have you ever seen the one by a guy called Sean? He's a British YouTuber that's done a really good video essay on just like the whole crime statistics, the whole should we do capital punishment or not question. But seriously, his YouTube channel is just Sean, and his icon's just like a skull. He's done one of the best video essays that I have ever heard of, ever seen or watched in my life, about the whole topic. And it is a dark topic, but there's a lot that goes into it, and there isn't actually a lot that suggests capital punishment actually brings down crime, or at least, you know, like bad crime. So, yeah, it's a really good one. Look, I'll actually link it right now for you. Shaun the Sheep, not Shaun the Sheep. Now all I can think of is Shaun the Sheep. Shaun. Death penalty. It's a really good video. I promise you. 40-minute long, and it's very, very statisticky. It could be seen as a little bit dry for a lot of people, but when I first watched that, within 2 minutes I was like, paper and pad, sit down, and I've literally got like pages upon pages, like literally pages, and that's just a tiny little bit of a portion of like the shit that I write down when I fucking watch these videos. But yeah, it's a really statistic driven video, and like what Tati says there, and in fact capital punishment makes people care less about the value of life, so they're more likely to commit crimes. Absolutely. There's a lot that goes into it, and I know that I personally was very shocked when I watched Sean's video. I've watched a lot of Sean's other videos. He's got bangers such as the 1776 report, banger, dropping the bomb, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now that is one of the most insane looks at the whole politics around dropping of the bomb, and asks the question, did the bomb need to be dropped? Bombs need to be dropped. Spoiler, the answer is no, they didn't. The answer, in short, is it was a flex. watch it. It's 2.5 hours long, but again, lots and lots of notes. Death penalty, a bell curve. That's another really good one. All about like the bell curve and just the many falsehoods that is in that. So yeah, lots of bangers. He goes at PragerU quite a lot. If you've ever seen PragerU, they're that conservative think tank that's funded by a lot of incredibly questionable people that are trying to put out very bad messages about all kinds of social things. So yeah, very good. Being there made me worse. I got meaner. Yeah, being with other worse girls. Yeah. I can imagine. I can imagine absolutely. And yeah, I would love to watch that on a future episode. You know, watch that Sean video, talk about it all, and yeah, have a real good chinwag about it. I do find all that very interesting, not only sociologically and economically, but also philosophically as well, and morally. I think it is just a very interesting conversation. Once you're in the system, they try to keep you there. My bestie has a felony and is constantly kicked back down the hole. Absolutely. It's like very well known that once you get a felony, whether it's for, you know, holding up somebody at gunpoint or literally smoking weed or even selling weed, which I don't think is the worst thing in the world, to be honest, but you know, like something like that holds you back from getting a job. Anytime that you get you know, a speeding ticket or some shit in the future, you get penalised incredibly bad. Anytime you get stopped by the police or seen or whatever, you get ragged and treated differently. I mean, luckily I haven't had to experience that personally, but I am definitely not blind to the fact that shit is a huge problem in the States, at least. It's been 6 years and they talk down to her when she pays her fines. They give a shit when she calls a PR and her house insurance cancelled her and called her a criminal, but claimed it was for her shrubs being too tall. Damn, man. See what I mean? And this is why it's so fucked up to be locking people up for ridiculous shit, because it really does ruin your life. Not so much over here, although it does. Like, I've had a driving offence on my licence and it lost me a job. I struggle getting houses and shit because of it. Like, I suppose to a certain extent I do feel that. It's not to the same extent, but, and it is my own fault. I should not have done the driving offence in the first place, granted. But yeah, you know, like, holy shit, right? Talk about like totally trying to take it at cleaners for it. Like, you really pay for it like forever, or at least for as long as it's on your record, you do, which is a little bit rough, especially when it ain't that deep, right? Yeah, very terrible shit. But ladies and gentle gems, I am gonna love yous and leave yous. I can feel my belly rumbling, and I'm gonna go get some food. And I think probably even go to bed, to be honest. I think after this I need bed. But no, I'm gonna go get something to eat and then chill. But yeah, thank you everybody. I really appreciate everybody's company today. Hope that you've enjoyed the videos, the conversations. Hope you enjoyed earlier on Reddit as well if you was there. She can't get a job because she's a felon. She's constantly judged, yeah, and she'll take responsibility on you, but fuck the system, it is broken. Yep, absolutely. Now that is a statement that I will end on, yeah. Like, Jeff the system, man. Burn it down. Burn the motherfucker down. But thank you everybody. I really enjoyed everybody's company today. Genuinely, you lot are the best. I will be back tomorrow, depending on the weather. We might be out and about, but we'll have to just see. #funds. But we'll get there. But okay, right, Tati, thank you for joining us, Tati. I appreciate your company today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day as well and have a lovely evening. Sheila, thank you for joining us. I will definitely try and enjoy my dinner. Appreciate you being here today. Lena, thank you for being here and adding to this stream and making it good. I could not do it without you all. Like, let that be known. I could not do this without you all. So thank you for the love, the support, the company. I really appreciate everybody. Like, honestly. Silky, have a great rest of your day, Kez, and everyone. Now I will second that. Thank you, Lena. Bless you. Thank you, Lena. Thank you. Bless you. Have a great day, all. Yes. Thank you. Bless you. Silky, yep. Have a good rest of your day as well, love. Appreciate you coming and joining us. I do hope you're doing okay. Great to see you again. Danielle, me too now. I'm sweating, man. I gotta go to bed too. Me too, man. I'm like dripping, man. After like James Saroka, and then like death penalty, and fuck the system, man. The police, man. Yeah, like, whoo, it's been an emotional stream. It has. I've got to admit it has. But thank you, everybody, Lord. Thank you. I know it's been a dark subject matter today for the most part. I appreciate everybody sitting through, everybody's thoughts that we've all added to this. Like, could not be the stream that we've had today without you all here. So thank you. And also, fuck James Saroka. If we're just gonna be, declaring our F's for everybody. You're allowed to swear on Twitch. I checked it out, so that's cool. Bye, Mary. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you joining us, Mary. I hope that was somewhat fun and enjoyable and interesting to listen to. Danielle, sorry if I didn't say goodbye and good night, Kez and company. Good night, Danielle, and goodbye, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Congrats again to Canada. Yep, absolutely. Loving it. Bye, Kez and everyone. Mary says, bye, Mary. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Good night, gang. Oh, have a great day. Thank you, Sheila. Have a fun and safe trip, Danielle. Yes, oh my gosh. I'm hitting the road at 1 a.m. tonight for the beach of North Carolina. Wish me luck. Good luck to Danielle. Oh my days. Pictures. Discord. Yes, I hope you really enjoy your time there. You absolutely deserve a real nice beach. Oh my god, I want to go to the beach so bad. I really hope you enjoy your day, man. Thank you for letting us know that. I'm buzzing. I second that. Yes. Myrtle Beach, nice. I'll be posting pics in the Discord once I reach the sand. Wicked. I am eagerly anticipating those. Absolutely awesome. Have fun. Yeah, have fun. Absolutely have fun. And same goes to everybody. Most importantly, everybody have fun. Have fun, man. Enjoy yourselves out there. Smile, laugh, and don't be sorry about it. But on that bombshell, I will catch you all in the morrow. I'm already looking forward to it. I will see you all soon. Peace. Yeah.